Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful village where everyone knew each other, there was an eerie place at the edge of a dark forest. Strange noises could often be heard coming from the forest, and villagers would talk about them. Some believed the sounds were just the wind, but others thought there was something far darker behind it. The villagers made sure never to go near the forest, especially at night. They always warned the children, "Don't go into the forest." But a group of brave kids always defied the warnings. One day, a boy named Alex, known for his courage, decided to venture into the forest. His closest friends, Emily and Mark, eagerly joined him. "Tomorrow night, we're going into the forest," Alex said confidently. "No one can stop us." The village people warned the three children, but they didn't listen. They set off anyway. That night, under the pale moonlight, they walked deeper into the forest, slowly leaving the fading lights of the village behind. "Something's not right," Emily said suddenly, hearing a faint hum. "Do you hear that?" Mark, his voice trembling, replied, "Yes, but it's just the wind, I'm sure." Yet, despite his words, fear was creeping into his heart. Then, ahead of them, a small light flickered in the distance. It looked like someone had lit a candle, but how could that be so deep in the forest? The children, filled with a mix of curiosity and fear, took hesitant steps toward it. As they approached, the forest grew even darker. The trees seemed to be watching them. Every step they took was accompanied by strange cries and a faint, eerie hum that echoed through the air. The deeper they went, the more terrifying it became. Suddenly, a voice rang out from the darkness. "What are you looking for, children?" The children froze in fear. Before them stood a tall, old man. His face was obscured by shadows, but his eyes glowed. Who are you?" Emily whispered, her voice shaking. The man's deep voice echoed in the night. "There is something here, but you are not ready for it. The dark secrets of the forest. They are waiting for you." Alex, determined not to show fear, stepped forward. "We're just curious. We're not afraid," but before he could say anything more, the trees began to move. Strange shapes and figures emerged from the darkness. It felt like the forest itself had come alive. The figures had blurry faces and giant hands with sharp, terrifying claws. Mark, his voice breaking, screamed, "Run!" but his feet seemed to be glued to the ground. They were paralyzed with fear. The man's eyes glowed brighter, and he let out a chilling laugh. "This is no longer your place," he said. "The forest has decided to accept you." The children screamed and ran as fast as they could, but the forest seemed to change around them. The trees twisted, creating a labyrinth, blocking their way at every turn. With every step, the sounds of the strange creatures grew louder, and the trees creaked ominously. Exhausted and terrified, they finally came together. But when they looked behind them, a giant silhouette appeared through the trees. It was the ancient guardian of the forest, a creature that had lived there for centuries. But now it was a being that did not allow anyone who entered the forest to leave. Alex, Emily, and Mark ran desperately, but the village seemed so far away now, its lights invisible in the distance. A piercing scream cut through the night, and then everything fell silent. The next morning, the children never returned. From that day on, the villagers swore never to go near the forest again. They all knew there is something living in the forest, and there is no escaping it.